Hello everyone, my name's Joseph. I'm the guy who wears a beanie and talks about conspiracy theories, if you couldn't tell from my hat. On this channel, what we're going to be doing is using my minimal life experience and lack of knowledge to see if any conspiracy theories actually hold ground. We'll cover the plausible and perhaps believable to the downright strange and frankly crazy. And even with those, we'll play the devil's advocate, see why people believe them, how they came to be, and find out if at all they can hold any ground. Now, when I say conspiracy theory, you're probably thinking of, a flat earth or we didn't land on the moon or something like that, but we're going to cover more than that. We're going to look at disappearances, the reason behind them, and strange events where people believe there was a conspiracy involved. We'll go back in time, we'll do present conspiracies as well, and through all of this, test and see, can these actually be real? Now, if you like the sound of this content, make sure you like the video and subscribe. It does help the YouTube algorithm make sure this video reaches people, but for you it also means you don't miss a video, and it means that I can continue making more content just like this. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, speaking of crazy and unbelievable, the first one we're going to start with today is flat Earth. Now, I'm assuming you've heard of that. If you haven't, it's pretty simple. The belief that the Earth is not a sphere, but is flat and a disc. Now, at first you might say, oh, that sounds crazy, that couldn't be, and I agree with you. So, there we go, we've settled on that. But the point of this channel is to find out why people believe in it, so we're gonna do a bit of digging and find out where this theory came from and why people still believe it today. And also consider a conspiracy theory, by definition, suggests that there's a point to conspire. Someone's out to change things, deceive you for a reason. And so hopefully we can dig down and find out why flat earthers think that there would be all this deception and what the goal is in the end. Now, flat earth has been around for a long time. Now, that doesn't mean that it was always a conspiracy theory. For a while, it was just common belief that the earth was flat. Now, there is great debate on when people started to realize that the earth was sphere. It seems that there are multiple instances where we realized that, but then we backtracked, and then different societies believe different things. But for the most part, modernly, mostly due to technology, people are aware that the earth is round, right? It's a sphere. We've got planes, spaceships, pictures. Let's go ahead and take a look and see why people still believe it today despite the massive evidence that it is round, and also see what they think about the other bodies of the universe. Now, the Flat Earth Society is larger than I would have assumed. Flat Earth Society has actually grown 200 people per year since 2009. Now, of course, they're reporting on a self-claim made by the Flat Earth Society, but assuming they're correct, that means that over the past 11 years, and this year being 2020, over 2,000 people have joined this group. That in the long run, in the big picture, is not that many people. Wouldn't you think these are people who really, truly do believe that the Earth is flat, and when you consider that these might be people outside of the Flat Earth Society, just normal people every day who believe this, we can see that it's quite a few people that still think that the Earth is flat, and there must be a reason behind it. Now, a poll was ran by YouGov back in 2018, asking people, do you believe the Earth is round? Do you believe it's flat? What's your opinion on this? But 5% has said that I always thought the world was round, but I'm having some ideas and I'm kind of skeptical now. There's 2% that said I've always thought the Earth is flat, but I'm starting to come to the round side. And then 7% stated not sure. And that means that a little over 7% of people could be fit into the group that thinks that the Earth is flat, or, there's more than that. I guess there's the turtleback Earth as well, but we're not going to talk about that. There must be a reason behind it, other than just assuming because they want the Earth to be flat and think that they're smarter than everyone else on the planet, which that really could be the reason. But let's dig a little deeper and find out if there's something else here. Now, you may be wondering, with flat Earth, how are their orbits? How is the sun rising? How is the sun setting? How can all of our ideas of astronomy and the way the world and universe work still fit with, this flat Earth idea? And that's when, to be honest, some of the more odd ideas tying to this flat Earth conspiracy come out. But Nope, we're still going to look at them and see what they're thinking. So they believe, like I said, the Earth is flat and it is a disk. They believe the Arctic is actually a ring of ice that surrounds the ocean with land in the middle we live on, our continents. You don't hear about people making excursions to Antarctica. It's government agencies that are going to be going there. And they say the reason for that is because they're worried that gravity might do its trick and knock you right off, and then you'd be dead. Speaking of gravity, you might say, okay, but if they think the Earth is flat, how are we pulled to the surface? And therefore, how are you going to fall off? Is it just this infinite force where you just keep on falling? That's kind of where it gets interesting. There's really two schools of thought when it comes to flat Earth. That the Earth is a flat disk, the Moon's a sphere, that Mars is a sphere, it's round, and that all the other bodies are round. That we're right about that, but the Earth is uniquely flat and everything orbits around it. And I think the logic behind that is when you're believing something crazy like this, you have to tie in other things where you can believe your theory, but also incorporate a lot of science and ideas to make your theory seem more believable or really you less crazy. And what that comes down to is realizing you're wrong, but not wanting to let go of your idea. Now, I said there were two schools of thought. There is flat Earth, where everything else is round, and then there's flat Earth that completely changes the entire construct of the cosmos. They say the sun and the moon are both spheres, measuring 32 miles in diameter. Now, depending on who you ask, they could be spheres, or they could be round, just discs, just like Earth, that are just up there like spotlights. They believe the sun and the moon, like I said, 32 miles across, sitting roughly 3,000, maybe more, maybe a little less. I'd probably say more if they want it to make any sort of sense, are just floating up in the sky, and they move around Earth, and then the stars are in the same kind of plane and distance that are tiny spotlights that light different portions of the Earth, depending on the night and day cycle, and they just circle around the planet. How does that make sense? How do we fall? How do these bodies orbit us? They say that our gravity is non-existent. That instead, the planet is going, I don't know if I should call it a planet because it's a disk, but that the disk is going straight up. And that force of going up is what causes us to fall. It causes us to, have our weight. That's their form of gravity. Not any sort of orbit, not any sort of pull, but just a motion up. Which is why if you went to this ice wall and tumbled off, you would fall eternally. Now, I'm not sure their idea behind oxygen and if there's breathable air, or if you just continue falling, if it would be cold, if it would be hot. Now, one of the big things people mention, with flat Earth is, okay, well, if the Earth is a disk, if it's flat, and the moon and the sun are going all over the place, how come during eclipses and lunar phases, why can we see the Earth's shadow move over the moon spherically and not flat as a stripe? Well, they claim that that's not Earth's shadow, that what you're actually seeing in terms of lunar cycles is the anti-moon. Now, going into the definition of conspiracy theory, again, suggests that there is someone conspiring, a group trying to deceive for a reason. No one's going to create this huge lie just to make everybody think the Earth is round and prank them. That makes no sense. That doesn't hold any sort of logic. And really what we're trying to do here is use logic, sometimes, as I said, in a devil's advocate form. Either way, we're still trying to figure out why intelligent beings could believe this. And granted, I'm assuming intelligent, we are human, while some people are smarter than others. There's got to be some sort of logic that causes them to believe it, aside from just, I think I'm going to think this today. Well, according to them, it's because people are lying. The images you see from space of seeing a spherical Earth, they're all photoshopped. The images you see from the moon are photoshopped. They do believe that all these images are fabricated, Photoshop. Even in planes, when people are looking out windows, they think, they've done something to windows to make it look like there's a curve that's not actually what it is, or is an optical illusion, which is stretching it, but we'll buy it for the time being and pretend, okay, assuming all that true, let's continue. Well, why would everyone lie about the Earth being round or flat? It really comes down to money. The motive behind it would be that a fake space agency, not actually launching things into space, not actually doing all this research, is cheaper, and therefore government agencies are making money on media reports and everything like that, and NASA, because they're not actually making a space agency, but people think they are, almost like a laundering act or fraud. They're making this extra money without actually doing the work. Now, I could get into perhaps some of, space events or discoveries are fabricated to make us seem that we're further ahead than other countries, but to think that the entire planet and the entire space agency and everything that's been done is all a lie to get some extra money off of a cheaper space program makes no sense at all. I mean, the scope that would have to cover is just insane. Now, there are conspiracy theories, there are secret groups, that's happened in the past, but on the scope covering multiple different countries and a single Illuminati behind everything is like, haha, they think it's round, we're making a ton of money. Would it make sense to me? Perhaps this innate feeling that there's some sort of deception in the world, which I can agree with. Again, in this channel we're going to cover conspiracy theories that I think really do hold ground. I think the focus is being placed in the wrong theory, though, in the wrong science, that, the Earth is flat, that we've all been lied to. And a lot of these people, they have this overwhelming urge and this overwhelming idea that something's happening, and they just can't shake that feeling. They say, I know I'm going to be looked at as crazy and everything, but I think the Earth is flat. And whether that's just for attention or they truly feel that way, I can't say. I'm not them. But just to believe them that they cannot not believe this because it's just ingrained in them now that something's going on. I think that's the main reason we see a lot of it these days, because people can sense something is going on behind the curtain somewhere. Someone's pulling strings, and they have this idea that this must be it. The Earth is flat, based on what they see when they walk outside. And really, I think it comes down to community. These days, modernly, there's a lot of people who are alone. Or they feel alone. They're not alone, but they feel alone. They're looking for community to fit into, and they just don't know where to go. And when they find that all they have to do to have a community is believe this, not only will people think they're crazy, and then they can get their martyr feeling from that, they also have this community of people who also are viewed as crazy, and they can bond over that. Humans love having something easy to bond over. They love bonding over something, but they like to have something in common that they can bond over. And I think in this case, flat Earth is that one for these people. And I think I can say with further certainty that it seems less of a belief that the Earth is actually flat, and more to join a community of like-minded people who are also strange and different, and using flat Earth to come together and have a community and a family. I think that really is where it comes from. People, while they say, I want to, be different, really what they want is to be different to join a community. And I really think that's what it comes down to. I'd venture to say, deep down, they really do not believe flat Earth. There's a few here and there, but I think the most part, these communities, they don't really believe it deep down, but they really just want a community. Now, there's celebrities as well, and I'm sure that's just to give, FaceTime in the news or whatever, even if it's bad FaceTime. Sometimes bad FaceTime, you still get, your face out there. So that could be it, and trying to be unique, standing out, among your other peers. But I think overall, it's just to be part of community. Now, again, like I said, if you like the content you saw here, please make sure to like the video. Like I said, it helps the YouTube algorithm, gets the video out there, and helps people find it. If you didn't like the video, don't click that ugly button pointing down. Make sure you subscribe as well, whether you like the video or not, because you might find that the next video coming out might be better. You might find that there's a theory you actually are interested in. If you're subscribed, all it means is you'll see my beautiful face, and you can skip past it if you don't want to see it. So please do subscribe, please like the video, enjoy the comment war down below. I'll see you all in the next video. Good night.